I want to show you something on the snare drum. And I'm going to put a pad on here just so I can speak and you can hear me. When we've been practicing where we bring the elbow out and the stick drops, and we have a motion like that. Okay? We can play it low, you can play it medium, or we could play high. This is called the informal motion. Informal means we're going to use our elbow, our shoulder, our wrist, our whole arm is it's got that motion. And we've been studying like this, and it's a great way to play. You get a lot of power without using a lot of energy, without making yourself tired. But there's also another way to play, and it's called the formal method. The formal method, a lot of people in classical music, a lot of people in the theater will play like this. Why? Because a lot of times in situations like that, you don't need a lot of power, a lot of strength. You don't need to play loud. You don't need this all that energy. Especially maybe you're in a theater and you get work in the theater. In that instance, we would switch to something called the informal method of playing. What that is the motion of the stick comes from the wrist. Okay? I'm not going to lift my elbow. I'm not going to use my shoulder. I'm going to play like this. This, again, the theater is a perfect example of when you would use the formal method of playing. Playing just from the wrist. You don't need a lot of volume. You may need to be playing music when actors are speaking, so you need to really watch the volume, the dynamics. So let me just give you an example and watch my wrists. Okay, I think you understand. Keep that in mind when you play in the theater. You may want to play like that when you play with Eduardo. Maybe he's playing acoustic guitar. You don't need a lot of volume. You don't need to play. Okay? If you're in a situation where you're playing with acoustic instruments, you may want to switch to the formal method of playing, where everything comes from the wrist and not the shoulder and the elbow. Okay, even the Independence book, you can play it in the formal method. When you want to keep the volume low. So remember that. I want you to have different tools for different situations. When you're playing in a samba band, you want a lot of power. When you're playing with an acoustic guitar, when you're playing in a theater, you don't need a lot of power. You don't need a lot of volume. So you can switch to the formal, which is from the wrist. Okay, instead of. Okay, both ways correct. One more thing I want to go over today is rolls. Okay, so far there's really, as I see it, 4 types of rolls. There's the double stroke roll, okay, which is right, right, left, left. Okay, you have an open roll, which is a little faster. Okay, you have a closed roll. You'll tighten up the sound a little bit. Okay? The 4th roll is a roll that isn't used that often, but it's good to know, especially in the theater. What I want you to do is you'll hold the stick only with 3 fingers. The last 2 will be off the stick. So you'll only be using 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you'll hold the stick with 3 fingers, the last 2 off the stick. You'll apply a little bit of pressure, but not too much pressure because you don't want tension in your hands, but a little bit of pressure more than usual. And you'll play this roll around the edges of the drum. Remember, again, with 3 fingers, the last 2 off the stick. And it's called the buzz roll. And it's very good, again, for theater. So watch. Okay? Practice that. Remember it. Remember, like if something dramatic is happening in the theater, that would be a perfect time to use the buzz roll. Okay, so you can see. I think you'll understand how you could use that in something dramatic, something like the theater. Again, the buzz roll is not used that often, but it's if you need to use it, it's good to know. All right, Rockstar, so that's it for today. I hope these videos help, and I'll see you in Rio soon.